Oh, buddy. The Dallas Mavericks lost again, and tonight it was to the Memphis Grizzlies. And Desmond Bane was the, wait for it, the bane of existence for the Dallas Mavericks.
Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
The Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Welcome to Locked On Mavs. This is one of your co-hosts, Isaac Harris, contributor at Mavs.com, as Nick rightfully took this night off. Okay, because to his credit, he did get 2 nights ago. He got Friday night. I took Saturday night. We agreed to split this heading into the weekend. And I was kind of cracking some jokes to him through text that, hey, haha, you got, the Friday night game. Didn't know that this was going to be coming on Saturday night. So he texted me Saturday morning with some fun jokes as the Mavericks announced that Luka and KP were not going to play in the game. But the Mavericks lost to the Memphis Grizzlies 97-90. They held an opponent under 100 points and they lost. Hasn't happened a ton this year, but All Things Mavs on Twitter tweeted at us and said, hey guys, Locked On Mavs, Nick, Isaac, you guys should take tonight off. You know what? We don't take any post games off. Jimmy, come on. We don't take any post games off. But I think off the top, I just want to hit the injury updates for Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic because, as we all know, this team is not very good without either one of those guys. And I think it would be better if I just played the clip from Jason Kidd. This is pregame, as Kidd kind of addressed Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis being out in the game. Once again, this is pregame from Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd.
I have some guys out. So let's start with Luka. He's out. Left ankles soreness, lingering this injury. He's had, he missed the 3 games with this injury. So he's out. He had an MRI today. And so he's been sore. It's just been a busy stretch of games for us. And so we'll see how he feels tomorrow. Proceed that way. KP's out, left knee contusion. He's getting treatment, and we will monitor his progress. And then Willie is out with personal reasons.
Is an MRI show anything for Luka?
It's out of my pay grade. I don't get to see the film. So I only can give you what my speech writers give me. So.
Okay. So it wasn't any re-aggravation last night for Luka?
No, just he's sore. He got an MRI today, and we can only proceed with medical and Luka are doing. So he's out.
Luka Doncic is out tonight. Kristaps Porzingis. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm holding up something like I'm reading. Shout out to Jason Kidd. Just read what we write on you for a piece of paper. We're gonna hand you this piece of paper. Just read it off. That is the update from Jason Kidd on Luka and KP. The Luka thing, like he said, it's the lingering ankle issue that he missed a handful of games for. He was obviously out of this game. He had a very expensive outfit on tonight. On the bench that you guys can look up if you want. Looking fly, rocking the sweater, even though I think the high today in Dallas was like 77. So, hey, I didn't even think about it being 77, Luka's number, but it's kind of hot today in Dallas, and it really has been for the month of December. But who cares? And Porzingis, not gonna lie, a little worried about the Porzingis thing. I think all of us can be a little worried when KP's out, but the left knee contusion, there was one thing of missing the front game on the front end of the back-to-back. Then he misses a second game too. So we'll see what happens with that as the Mavericks have off on Sunday. No practice, anything with that. Then they come back on Monday, do their thing. And then Tuesday night, you know what? They welcome the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and the crew to town. So not the best of opponents to see whenever you're kind of struggling. But you know what? That's part of the NBA and being, in the words of Jason Kidd, NBA basketball players. That's part of the NBA life. But okay, so this game, they choose not to start Tim Hardaway. Kind of surprising to me, but you know what? I get the whole mindset behind it. Let's keep the rotations. It seems like they have, moved obviously Tim Hardaway to the bench permanently now. So it's like, hey, let's keep the rotation going. We'll just insert Brunson to that starting unit. They started Brunson, Dorian, Reggie Bullock, Maxey, Dwight Powell in that. Brought Tim off the bench. Honestly, thought Tim could have played a little bit more in this game, but once again, he had the injury on Friday night to, I think, his thigh. That he came back into the game and all that. So I don't really know exactly how he's feeling. But I texted Nick whenever Luka and KP were not going to play in this game. I texted Nick and I said over under 68.5 points for the Mavericks. And we kind of went back and forth. It was obviously just a joke. After the Mavericks scored 2 points in the first 4 to 5 minutes of the game, I was really watching that 68.5 number. I even tweeted out in the first quarter because they had 30-something points at halftime. And I tweeted out, and I was like, hey, in case anybody's wondering out there, unless I was the only one, the lowest amount of points that the Mavericks have ever scored in a game was 62 points. Back in 1997, they scored 64 points, a little bit better there, 2016 against the Grizzlies. But I was worried that they were not going to hit the 62 mark. But thankfully, they had Tim Hardaway Jr. on their side that made this game at least fun. Like, at one point, I know we've committed to you guys to do a post-game pod after every single game. We started this. We've been doing this pod a little over 5 years. We started doing this, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. And at one point, I was seriously debating on it because, I got to put up some Christmas decorations in the house. I got to get some stuff done. A lot of you guys know we just moved and all of this. And I'm like watching this game, taking all these notes, trying to make some highlights, but there wasn't really too much to clip. And I was sitting there debating on it. I'm like, you know what? Do we want to break the promise? Break the vow right now? I'm not going to maybe not do it tonight, but you know what? Had the power through. And at least Tim made this game fun because I thought that they were going to have to need, like, Boban was going to have to score like 28 in this game. That's what I thought was going to have to happen for them to be in it. But yeah, Boban did his thing a little bit, but thankfully, Tim went off in the fourth. Tim caught fire. Tim had 20 of his 29 points tonight. Shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr. As I look at his box score for tonight, Tim was 7 of 18, 5 of 9 from the field, 29 points. Like I said, 20 points in the fourth quarter tonight. And here's the most important thing, besides obviously losing this game to the Grizzlies without John Morant, Brandon Clark, Slow-Mo, my best friend. Maybe this is like that, exactly what Tim needed. Because when you look at Tim's numbers last year and you go into this year and you see the shooting numbers have went down, the 3-point shooting percentage, his efficiency numbers, just his overall feel on the floor. Obviously he started the season as a starter. Now he's back to playing off the bench, and he's just not having that good of a season. And to see a game like this, Luka, KP out, to see a fourth quarter like this, maybe this is exactly what he needed. Maybe that we go in, I'm trying to, hey, let's just put the optimist hat on right here just for Tim only in this conversation here. And just say, like, maybe this is a point that we look back on in a few games and say, man, that fourth quarter is what got Tim going at this first part of the season. And maybe he comes out against Brooklyn and he comes off the bench and he hits 4 or 5 threes again. And it's a lot of fun. He gets back on track. Maybe that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. But he at least made this game fun. I was kind of disappointed Jaylen Brunson tonight. Just because obviously when you're missing Luka and KP, when you look across the board for scoring, you're going to need, Tim, Brunson, these guys. There's not a ton of creators on this team, but you look at Jaylen Brunson's night tonight, he's a -6. Tim was a +7, by the way. But Jaylen Brunson, 15 points. He was 7 of 21 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3. I thought we'd have a little bit bigger game as far as scoring-wise from JB. It just didn't happen. I do want to praise Dorian Finney-Smith. I thought Dorian played a pretty dang good game. He had 14 points in this game, 4 of 6 from 3, 5 of 12 from the field. He had 6 boards, 4 assists. As always, he's always crashing the boards. He had 3 offensive rebounds tonight. Maybe 1 possession, but you know what? Probably multiple possessions because he had that one where he went back and forth, kind of getting his own rebound in that. So when I say here, and I kind of broke down, I took all my notes and I kind of broke them down to 3 different categories of like things that were bad, things that were good, and then things I don't understand. I've already touched on a few of these, but things that were bad, I didn't think Jaylen Brunson had a very good game at all. I thought the effort at times wasn't the greatest, and the field goal percentage. I mean, shocking here, but the Mavericks really struggled to score without Luka and KP. You could go even further and say they struggled to score even with them. For what it's worth on that, so field goal percentage in this game, 33% from the field, just can't cut it. Sorry. Got to be better. It just can't happen. Things that were good in this game. Like I said, I thought Dorian played a good game. I thought Tim had that crazy stretch in the fourth quarter. That last 3 that he hit over Desmond Bane, I'm going to get to Desmond Bane in a little bit, was incredible because the timing of it, one, he just had to take it because they just had to have a 3 to get back into this game. But the timing of it, he kind of turned as he was turning, he just decided to shoot. Bane was in his face, and obviously he drains the 3 at the top of the key. Bane, didn't allow him to come down, and bam, there's a 4-point play on that. So yes, Tim made this game at least competitive and fun there in the fourth quarter. Things that I don't understand. Let me just throw this out there. You guys know that if you've been listening to this pod, I'm not like, I don't think Josh Green is going to be the, next coming of Andre Iguodala. Okay. I don't think that. I've kind of had my fun with a portion of fans last year that were like, oh my gosh, Josh Green, if he played, look, we would have won some of these games. And it just became kind of a bit for some fans that Josh Green wasn't playing. If he played, he would be really good. And the Mavericks would win all these games and all this stuff. I don't understand why Josh Green can't play in a game like this. I just don't. And I understand he still has a lot of developing to do. I think Jason Kidd was even asked after the game, why in a game like this, when so many guys are missing, that guys like Josh Green and Moses and Eugene, couldn't see the floor. Kidd, basically said, hey, there's only so many minutes in a game. I played who I thought I could play, basically. And he said a few more things that I'm paraphrasing. I'm sure you guys could watch on YouTube or whatever it is, the exact quote on that. But I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand at times when the effort wasn't there, when they were getting beat by, gosh, I don't know what the largest lead, but it had to be close to 20 in this game. Like, why not throw Josh out there? At least he's going to run around and have energy. And I thought that he would at least been thrown out there, but he wasn't. They stuck to a lot of the tight rotations on that as far as how they want to keep things moving forward, and just didn't play. And I'm not saying that Josh Green playing in this game, would have won the game, but it's these type of games that I'd be like, you know what? Let's throw him out there, see what he's got. You know what? And so put him against Desmond Bane. Let's see something. But he didn't play. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and I actually want to have a mini conversation about Desmond Bane. All right. I had to take a quick drink real quick since I'm by myself. Nick decided to abandon me tonight. Let's talk about Desmond Bane for a second, because I think this goes into the category of things I don't understand. And I want to say a few things before I get down this conversation just a little bit, because I want to preface this mini monologue with a couple things here. I think Desmond Bane is incredible. I think he is one of the best value picks in the end of a first round that we've seen in recent history as far as drafts wise. Really, really good player. You saw the framework of that at TCU, and I think there are a lot of teams in the first round. I have the whole first round pulled up here from his draft that are probably smacking themselves right now for not taking Desmond Bane. Every time they see Bane play for Memphis or see a stat line or see some highlights, they're like, dang it, why could we not have taken him? Why, if you're Denver's probably like, why did we take Najee when we could have Desmond Bane right now. There's probably a lot of teams in that camp that are asking themselves, hey, why do we not take Desmond Bane? So I love Desmond Bane. I love watching him play. He killed the Mavericks tonight, 29 points, his career high. Love that. Okay. So I want to get that out of the way before I go down on this. I just don't understand. I think it's become kind of an obsession over the Desmond Bane Dallas thing, because we obviously didn't end up with him. And then the whole proximity thing with the TCU in Fort Worth and being close to the Mavericks and all of that. So the Mavericks had the 18th overall pick, Josh Green. We know all the stuff behind the Josh Green, Bob Vulgaris, Donnie Nelson. There's the athletic story. There's Bob telling, on the, with the Torre podcast and everything about the behind the scenes stuff in the front office on that draft night. We know how much they like. Some people like Saddiq Bey in that draft room. I know all of this. Okay. We know all of this, the Saddiq Bey, Josh Green thing. They end up going with Josh Green. They didn't go Saddiq Bey. We know how Saddiq is having a pretty good start to his season. We loved on this podcast, we love Saddiq Bey. They missed on Josh Green for Saddiq Bey. I'm all here for that. They missed. If we want to keep going on this, and I don't want to put the target on Josh Green, but in the same way that I'm praising Desmond Bane, I want to say this about Josh Green too. Josh Green being 2 years into his career, not being able to play in a game like this is a miss for the Mavericks. Like, we have to admit that. Okay. I'm not trying to sugarcoat that either. But when you look down and say, okay, Saddiq Bey, yeah, he could be playing over Josh Green right now. Even looking at Precious, even like looking at Tyrese Maxey, like Emmanuel Quickly, like these are all guys that I'm like, dang, man, they could have taken that guy. They could have taken this guy. Maxey, he's a Garland kid. They could have taken him. Let's go. We love the proximity stuff. And then we get down to Peyton Pritchard. I mean, he's at least playing some minutes for Boston, or he's been playing. Malachi Flynn, I liked him going to the draft. I like him in Toronto. And then Desmond Bane, the 30th pick in the draft, one pick above the Tyrell Terry pick. And I just want to ask this open question. Should NBA teams be held to a higher accountability when they miss on a player that played college in close proximity to them? I'm honestly asking that, because I've seen it's been a discourse. Even, some media people, we talk about it. So obviously Mavs Twitter talks about it. It's been a conversation about the Desmond Bane thing. And I'm just openly asking that question, like, because I start looking at different things too. Is that a slippery slope? Like, why did we have the same conversation with Jared Allen playing at Texas whenever we took Dennis Smith Jr.? And how far, if we are going to say, yes, proximity matters, we should hold an NBA team to a higher regard whenever they miss on a player, they don't take a player that plays next door down the street from them. What's the limit on that? Are we talking it has to be within an hour? Can we do a couple hours? Does Texas count? Does Arkansas count? Are we doing the Bobby Portis versus Justin Anderson thing? Hey, you didn't take, Bobby Portis but he played at Arkansas. It's a neighboring state. I just don't know. I'm asking, do people in other states do this? Do Hornets fans get really upset that if the Hornets miss and they don't take a Duke player or a Carolina player, an NC State player, or is there Nets fans or Knicks fans in New York that, man, there's a Syracuse player, another New York school, and we didn't take him in this draft, so therefore, why they're more upset because it's a closer school to them. And that's what I'm trying to process that. I'm like, I don't know. I will say, you've heard me make the joke on the pod. I haven't understood a lot, because I think a lot of teams ahead of the Desmond Bane pick should be mad that they didn't take Desmond Bane. I'm all here for that. I think there's a lot of players that the Mavericks should be regretting right now that they didn't take at 18, including Maxey, even Precious, like we said, even Quickly, throw Desmond Bane in that. I get all of that. But the notion of the Mavericks failed so bad because there was a guy who played college nearby, I just think that's a slippery slope. So that part, it's become, I think, I think it's become kind of a obsession a little bit because he played, nearby and all of that. So, and something I also don't buy is the trade up part of that conversation of, hey, well, the Mavericks had the 31st overall pick. They could have moved up one spot to 30 and got him. I don't like any of that stuff because then you could just do what ifs every day, all day, every draft of like, you had this pick, you could have moved up one spot to 18 instead of 19, and like all this different stuff of every draft pick, of every second round, first round, and everything. And it just goes to show you the draft conversations are so much fun and they're so hard. In the same conversation about second round picks, how many times I'm blaming myself. I did the exact same thing. I've been sitting back, and so I'm calling out myself here. I've sat back so many times and be like, dang it, man, we missed on AJ Hammonds. We missed on, this second. I wish we could turn a second round pick, Tyler Bay. I wish we could have turned Tyler Bay into something. I wish we could have used some of these second round picks. Second round picks are important until the league cracks down on the Bulls and Heat, and we're firing off the tweet saying, that's just a slap on the wrist. Who cares about second rounders? And it's like, all right, well, I cared about them. They're so important before because I want my team to make, the best of the second rounders. But when it comes to a penalty to a team taking away second rounders, in the same vein, I can be hypocritical of myself of being like, well, dang, well, they didn't matter then. Who cares? It's just a slap on the wrist. So anyway, it's just fun draft conversations, right? And we can all agree to disagree. But my whole thing is, I think Bane is an incredible player. I think the Mavericks would be a much better team right now if they had taken him. I wish he was a Dallas Maverick. He would be great on this team. It would be a great story, TCU and all of that. I think there are a lot of players that we could look in this draft, especially considering that Josh Green isn't playing, and say, man, they missed on a handful of players that were drafted after Josh Green, including Sadiq Bey, and say, man, I wish they would have taken one of those players. But I don't understand just the one player obsession of Desmond Bane of he played down the street, he played at a college nearby, and the Mavericks suck so bad because they didn't take the local player of that. But Desmond Bane's great. The Mavericks have not been great as of late. They got to turn things around. They got to figure out something. They got to get Luka and KP healthy before Tuesday. And as KD and Harden and the crew comes to town. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow night. Wait, what is it? No, we'll be back tomorrow morning as Nick and I will be back for the pod. Peace out.